Welcome in for WCBN sports coverage of Michigan basketball. We are here live at the University of Dayton Arena in Dayton, Ohio for the first four as Michigan begins their journey through the NCAA Tournament. Leo Blavin sitting courtside, joined by Simon Kaufman. Simon, Michigan faces a Tulsa side that many people were surprised simply to be in the tournament. What do the Wolverines have to do tonight to come away with a victory and advance to Brooklyn?
I think for Michigan, you got to take advantage of the fact that you've got a big size advantage. On Tulsa's size, like Michigan, not a whole lot of size down low. Their biggest starter is Brandon Swanigan, 6'9", 210 pounds. Mark Donnell's got about 30 pounds on him. So take advantage. And for Michigan, as always, live and die by the three. So you hope the shots are falling for Michigan. They can take advantage for that. Tulsa, not a very good shooting team from the perimeter. And on the other side, not very good at defending at the three. Opponent shooting a 36% clip from the perimeter. So if Michigan can get guys like Zak Irvin, Duncan Robinson, Derek Walton going from behind the perimeter, they're going to be just fine here in Dayton.
You mentioned some of Tulsa's players. Who's the guy Michigan really needs to keep an eye on to prevent the upset?
You know, I think you look at, not sure if you can pick one guy, but they've got that trio of guards. Shaq Harrison, who thought they weren't going to be here, tweeted the day of Selection Sunday that he didn't think they were getting a bid. He's dangerous. He's pacing 15 points a game. And then you got James Woodard, too. He's sharp. He moves fast, pacing nearly 16 points a game. He can get boards, too, averaging 5 boards a game. He shoots well from the field. He can wind up from three, too. He's one of only 2 players on the Golden Hurricane that shoots better than 35% from their perimeter. So if Michigan can limit his touches and, you know, give Donnell some time. Make him go toe-to-toe with Swanigan down low. Donnell, that's been a big problem for Michigan going against size, as you saw with Iowa and Purdue. So take advantage of the fact that this time Michigan's the bigger team.
For those who haven't seen Tulsa play this year, what kind of style can we expect from them, both offensively and defensively?
Well, on the defensive side, I think that's what you're really paying attention to. They switch it up a lot. They'll run a 1-3-1, they'll run zone, they'll run man. And the thing with Tulsa is they'll do it all in a single series. So Michigan's got to be ready to adjust on the fly, and keep the tempo of the game up.
Michigan comes in this game as the favorite. Lines anywhere from 4 points to, I know Ken Pom, at least yesterday, still had Michigan favored by a point. How do you expect things to shake out if Michigan is to win this game? Do you think it's going to be close, or is there a chance that this game could turn into a rout?
You know, I don't see it turning into a rout. It's March. Both these teams, Tulsa didn't even think they'd be here. They're playing for everything right now. Michigan, a week ago before Cam Chapman hits that buzzer beater, they don't think they're being here. So it's March, anything can happen. I think it's going to come down to the last couple of minutes, and that's what we love about this time of the year.
Yeah, we're just a few minutes away from tipping off between Michigan and Tulsa, finishing off the first four that has already seen FGCU, Dunk City, as many people know them, advance, as well as Wichita State, and then the early matchup today, Holy Cross, a team that came in with an abysmal record, advancing to face Oregon in Spokane, and now the nightcap, Michigan and Tulsa. It'll be a mostly Michigan crowd. Do you expect that to play any sort of factor in this game?
You think mostly Michigan? There's a lot of maize and blue in the stands, but you got to remember you're playing in Ohio. I've seen people here that look like they never heard of Tulsa, but they're wearing their Buckeye gear and yelling "Beat Michigan." So the Buckeyes still turning out and cheering against the Wolverines here. So a great venue, though. I mean, you talk about classic college basketball places. It looks a whole lot smaller than Chrysler, but it seats an extra 700. Everyone just on top of each other. It only goes about 3-4 stories high, kind of a cracker jack box, but just an absolutely fantastic atmosphere. As it was for the games yesterday, and Southern and Holy Cross just about a half hour ago finishing up.
Any cause for concern? This is a different arena, as you mentioned, a lot larger backdrop, similar to what you'll see when teams advance further in this tournament and start playing in the NFL stadium. Do you expect that to have any effect, at least early on, for Michigan shooting the ball?
You know, I don't think so. They played in a lot of different atmospheres. They were in the Bahamas earlier this year, playing in a ballroom, which they basically just threw a court on top of it. So, you know, it's always something to think about, but I think if Michigan can get the shots flowing, you know, you kind of got to drain out the background, which is, of course, always easier said than done.
This is the first ever meeting between Michigan and Tulsa, the starting five for the Tulsa Hurricanes. Shaquille Harrison, James Woodard, Pat Burt, Rashad Smith, and Brandon Swanigan. For the Wolverines, Derek Walton Jr., Muhammad Ali, Abdur Rahman, Zak Irvin, Duncan Robinson, and Mark Donnell. The head coach for Tulsa, Frank Haith. You know him from Miami. You know him from Missouri as well, and now in his second year leading the Golden Hurricane, who last season reached the NIT's second round. As for Michigan, no postseason play a year ago. They're looking to redeem those efforts from last season by getting their win in the NCAA Tournament, first four against Tulsa. Simon, your thoughts on the starting five for Tulsa, some guys that Michigan fans probably aren't too familiar with, but they're going to become familiar with as this game progresses.
Probably all five guys Michigan fans not familiar, but the one thing you look at Tulsa, they've got 5 starters they're running out. 4 of them are seniors. Michigan seniors, Spike Albrecht, Harris LeVert, they're in sweatpants right now. They'll be sitting on the bench when this game tips off in just about a minute. So, you know, you talk about experience all the time, but when it comes to March, it helps to have those guys that have been here, that have been in this big atmosphere NCAA tournament, and, you know, can take the pressure. Michigan, only 2 scholarship players, Derek Walton Jr. and Zak Irvin, that have played in an NCAA tournament before, so I know they were talking to the guys, getting them ready for what this atmosphere is going to be like. But, you know, talk as long as you want. It doesn't really get real until you step out onto the court.
Michigan will be in their alternate maize uniforms with the blue numbers. Tulsa coming out in blue with the golden numbers for the Golden Hurricane. Michigan starting this game going left to right. Tulsa going right to left. Again, the starters for Tulsa: Harrison, Woodard, Burt, Smith, and Swanigan. For Michigan, Walton, Abdur Rahman, Irvin, Robinson, and to jump things off for Michigan, Mark Donnell, who will be going against the 6'9" senior, Brandon Swanigan. These Tulsa players, they've been in the NCAA tournament, a lot of them. This is their 16th appearance and their second in the past 3 years, and with a veteran-laden starting lineup featuring 4 seniors and a junior, all 5 of the starting 5 for Tulsa have NCAA tournament experience. About set to get things underway here in Dayton, and Tulsa wins the tip. Working the basketball right to left is Shaquille Harrison. Harrison kicks it to Woodard. Back up top to Harrison, and now Swanigan pulls out in front of the Michigan bench. His errant pass for Smith takes a deflection off the hands of Mark Donnell. Out of bounds on the baseline, Tulsa to inbound with 18 on the shot clock.
Good pace for Tulsa right off the bat, moving the ball well. Donnell, though, using that size, getting his hand in there.
Inbound out up top to Rashad Smith. And now off a screen is Harrison. 10 seconds on the shot clock as it's worked into the corner to Smith. Battling against Irvin, trying to get to the right block, kicks it to a cutting Harrison, who walked with the basketball. Good defensive possession to start this game for Michigan, forcing their early turnover.
On Michigan's side of things, save for losing the tip, that's exactly what you want, forcing them deep into the shot clock. Just 6 seconds there before the travel call. Derek Walton doing a great job on defense, Donnell holding his man down low.
And now here come the Wolverines in their maize uniforms, looking left to right. Donnell hands off to Rahman, who kicks it to Walton Jr., now into the corner to Irvin, who drives baseline, kicks it out to Duncan Robinson, wide open from the corner for 3, buries it.
That's exactly what you want if you're John Beilein from Duncan Robinson. He knows how much that first shot gets him going. He hits that first shot, count on him to have a few points. Then he misses that one, it throws off his rhythm.
Duncan Robinson getting the scoring started here in the first 4 from Dayton, Michigan, out to an early 3-0 lead. Harrison off a screen from Swanigan, loses his footing, but gives the basketball to Smith down low, who settles for a fadeaway jumper. Good defense by Irvin, forces the miss. Rahman brings down the rebound, and Michigan looking to push the pace. Rahman defers to Robinson. Thought about shooting it, instead kicks it out to Donnell. Back to Robinson, and the Wolverines will reset their offense.
Michigan looking very content, taking a few seconds, not rushing anything right now. They look like they're in a groove.
Irvin off a screen from Donnell, kicks up top to Robinson. Now 8 seconds on the shot clock. Donnell with it up top. Hands to Walton, settles for a contested 3. No good. Rebound brought down by Woodard. Up ahead to Burt, and now Swanigan at the free throw line. He kicks to Harrison, who drives in, goes up strong. Through the contact, they will wave off the shot, so he will settle for the foul on the floor. The basket did go, but they waved it off Foul on the floor. Transition defense, a problem early on for Michigan.
Michigan's got to get back a little quicker, get its feet set. On the other side of things, though, Mark Donnell's got to be a bigger presence down low against Swanigan. Michigan's got to be able to dump the ball, and Coach Beeline might agree, because Ricky Doyle checking in now at the 18-13 mark after less than 2 minutes of work for Donnell.
Donnell picking up an early foul. As you said, 18-13 left to go here in the first half between Michigan and Tulsa. The Wolverines on top 3-0 as it stands. Off an inbound three-pointer from Woodard. Good as it gets, and we are deadlocked at 3 apiece.
Good look from Woodard. One of the only threats from behind the perimeter. Michigan's got to know that. They've seen it on film. They've got to lock him down.
Now Irvin off a screen. Defers to Walton. Walton elects not to use a screen from Doyle, and now he does off a handoff. Walton trying to drive inside, no room, kicks it to Doyle, who can't hang on to it, and the turnover is taken by Shaquille Harrison. The Hurricane pushing the pace. Off of his screen, Harrison wide open for three, nothing but net.
That one Michigan can live with. Harrison only shooting 18% from behind the perimeter. Michigan not going to put a hand on his face like they would for Woodard, but still Michigan now got to slow things down, find its rhythm. Derek Walton, Zak Irvin need to step up for them here.
A little 6-0 spurt for the Hurricane, Michigan needing a basket. Rockman with 10 on the shot clock. Guarded by Smith, now Swanigan trying to take advantage of the mismatch. Goes inside, hook shot, no good. We'll call it an assist though, as Doyle was there to clean up the mess and lay it in for two.
Abdur-Rahman not getting the basket to go, but I love that he's taking it to the hoop. He knows that Michigan's got that size advantage. He does that quick ollie shuffle going right there.
Harrison feeds it down low to Swanigan through the contact of Doyle. He gets it to go off the glass. Not a smart foul by Doyle. He lost positioning and then tried to bail Swanigan out. And instead Swanigan finishes through the contact and will go to the line to try to complete the three-point play.
Not a smart foul, and you can tell Beeline's not happy on the other side. 16:44 left in the first half, and already his big men have combined for 2 fouls. So if this trend continues, don't be surprised if Moritz Wagner comes in here to save some time at the end. Of course, either big gets a second foul, they'll be done for the half.
The free throw rattles around the rim but does not fall. So it will simply be the basket and then a Doyle foul, but not a three-point play. Irvin off a screen from Walton pulls up for a long two, no good. And the rebound brought down by Woodard. Michigan ice cold after that opening three. A three on the other end. This one coming from Pat Burt doesn't go, and Robinson brings down the rebound for Michigan. Robinson feeds Doyle down low, who runs in like a raging bull. He lost all balance, got the shot up anyway. It didn't go, but he'll head to the line to shoot two with 16-17 still to play in the first half. Tulsa on top, 8-5.
Golden Hurricane very comfortable picking up the tempo of this game, running the ball real fast off of Michigan misses, and the Wolverines not be able to get it in place on the other side of the floor. Michigan needs to slow things down, play at their tempo, and control this game if they want to come out with a W. The first free throw is up and in for Doyle. He's got 3 points early on in the game, looking for his fourth from the charity stripe. Doyle shoots pretty well from the line for a big man, 62% clip. Actually started the season as Michigan's, Donnell started the season, but played 10 games starting when Donnell went in a slump.
And he swishes the second free throw, and now Mo Wagner checking in for his first action, player who really shined in the Big Ten tournament.
Mo Wagner really a coming out party in the Big Ten tournament after not playing, I think, 14 minutes in the last dozen or so regular season games. So, you know, especially a guy that hasn't been in the big moment, but someone that's embracing it.
Recorded a total of 27 minutes in the 3 Big Ten tournament games, and now he goes to work defensively against DeAndre Wright, and he forces a turnover. Good post defense by the freshman from Germany.
That's what you want to see. Wagner not being here before. He knows he's got the size advantage. He's going up against Wright at 6'9", 245. Wagner's got about 2 inches on him. So take advantage of that size, because that's something that Michigan rarely has.
Wright, a senior, has the experience as Robinson settles for a three-pointer. That doesn't go, but Michigan gets the offensive rebound. Robinson drives inside, kicks to Wagner, who flushes it home with a two-handed slam. Mo Wagner making his presence felt early on, forces a turnover on the defensive end, and then gets the Easy dunk home, and Michigan's back on top 9-8 here with 15.5 minutes to play.
How about that from the German Giant playing in his first NCAA tournament game? He was watching Michigan a couple years ago when they were in the Final Four.
James Woodard driving inside, and Wagner got a piece of it for the block. Michigan in transition. Rockman to Irvin in the corner, back up top to Walton Jr. Good transition defense by Tulsa, preventing an easy bucket. Walton trying to kick it to Robinson. Took a deflection, but Robinson's able to corral it. Gives to Walton in the corner for three. Off the side of the rim, no good. Pushing the pace the other way, Markel Curtis driving baseline. Kicking it up top, Walton got a hand on it, but couldn't corral it in. Out of play the first time out on the floor, 14:52 left to play in the first half. Michigan on top early on of Tulsa, 9-8. Simon, your thoughts on the opening play?
Michigan, comes out. Duncan Robinson hits that three. It looks like Michigan be coasting, but Tulsa not going anywhere. They come on that little 6-0 spurt, hit 2 threes of their own. Michigan bigs pick up 2 fouls. First Markinell and then Ricky Doyle. Beeline says, you know what? I'm going with my German Giant. Mo Wagner comes in, forces a turnover on the defensive end, gets spread the ball down low on the offensive end, throws it down, and then another block on the defensive end. So not bad from the big fella from Berlin.
This broadcast of the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship is authorized under broadcast rights granted by the NCAA through the Westwood Run Radio Network. It is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the NCAA and Westwood One is strictly prohibited. Mo Wagner checks in early on. We saw a few years ago Mitch McGarry, who had limited action in the regular season of his freshman campaign, really emerged in the NCAA tournament. Any chance we see similar production from Mo Wagner, a guy who we didn't see a lot of in the regular season, who seemed to be emerging in the Big Ten tournament and has made his presence felt in the first few minutes of this game?
Wagner has been waiting for an opportunity to come out. We were talking to him the other day about, you start off, you have a great game against Charlotte, you play well in the Bahamas, and then all of a sudden the numbers don't just drop, they absolutely vanish. He played very, very little at the end of the season. So for him to come in and get an opportunity to show, he's a big-time player, he can make some plays when it counts, that's going to be huge for him going forward. Another person you got to look at, Derek Walton, no points yet. He didn't have any points the other day. He's 0 for 2 from the field, 2 3-pointers that didn't go. We've seen in that Northwestern game that he can still be a difference maker when he's not scoring points. He had a dozen assists in that, but so far he's O's all the way through. No points, no assists. So for Walton to be a difference maker in this game is going to be huge for Michigan, distributing the ball, driving, getting to the hoop, and having a couple of those shots fall down.
14:52 left to play in the first half. Michigan currently leading it 9-8. Leading scorer right now on the floor for Michigan, Ricky Doyle, who has 4 points, including 2 free throws. For Tulsa, they've shared it between Harrison and Woodard, who both had triples early on in this game. Something Michigan has to be somewhat concerned with. Tulsa, not a good three-point shooting team. If they can continue to shoot the ball well from behind the arc, that's got to be a concern for Coach Beeline and his staff.
Tulsa 2 of 3 from behind the arc right now, and one of those guys that hit a shot, Harrison, shooting worse than 20% from three-point range. So you don't want to see that if you're Michigan. You got to throw a hand up against those guys. Force them to go into the paint against you. They don't score a lot of their points on posting up points in the paint. So force them to your advantages if you're Michigan.
14:52 left to play in the first half. Michigan on top, 9-8 over Tulsa. Tulsa to inbound the ball on their attacking half of the court with 20 seconds now to go on the shot clock. Markel Curtis running the point. Now driving inside, Rashad Ray, who gives to an open DeAndre Wright for an easy lay-in from the right block. Walton, Abdur Rahman, Wagner, Irvin, and Robinson on the floor for Michigan. Rahman kicks to Irvin in front of the Tulsa bench. Now Walton, now into the corner, Rahman. Driving baseline, kicking to Irvin. Irvin drives inside, draws a blocking foul. This one will go against Markel Curtis.
Michigan's still struggling to get into the paint, throwing the ball a lot around the perimeter. Mar driving baseline, but then kicked it out to Zak. So Michigan still, they have that size advantage. You got to go down in the paint, drive, and get to the rim.
Second team foul against the Hurricane. 2 team fouls against the Wolverines as well. Robinson inbounds it to center court, back to Rockman. Good to see no trouble with the early inbounds for Michigan.
Something that plagued them in the Big Ten tournament with Zak Irvin inbounding the ball.
Rockman thought about a 3, blows by his defender. Now it's moved around well. Irvin for 3. No good, but a nice look for him there. Needs that to fall later on in the game as going coast to coast. Markel Curtis once again rejected by Mo Wagner. The big man playing extra big down low.
Wolverines 1 for 5 from deep. If you're Michigan, you know this John Beilein team. It's a live by the 3, die by the 3 team. Right now, they're dying by the 3.
Rashad Ray trying to get the inbound, just does to Woodward. Now Ray works it down low to Wright. DeAndre Wright going to work. Once again blocked by Mo Wagner. 10 on the shot clock. Wagner, 3 blocks early on in the game. Rashad Smith mismatch over Irvin in size as Wagner collects the missed shot for a rebound. Rockman tries to drive in, leaves for Wagner, who thought about a 3. Made the right decision settling down.
John Beilein likes that decision too. You could almost see him jump out of his shirt over there with Wagner winding up.
Irvin has his pocket picked and Ray pushing the pace back the other way as he crosses midcourt. Gives to Curtis and now Woodard. Michigan sticking in the man-to-man early on as a long 3. No good from Rashad Ray, and Michigan working it in transition. Irvin leaves to Robinson. Had the opportunity for a difficult 3. Elected to give to Walton Jr. on a handoff instead. 15 on the shot clock. Irvin curling off a screen as the pass is to Wagner. Wagner sets a screen for Walton, whose kick back to him is kicked away, and the steal is taken by the Hurricane. Pushing the pace and settling for a 3. Shot no good for James Woodard. Neither side shooting the ball particularly well early on. Tulsa 0 for their last 4 as Rockman takes a 3, and Michigan hasn't scored in 3.5 minutes.
Michigan 1 for 6 now from deep. A 3.5 minute going on 4-minute drought. Tulsa deciding to slow things down. Beilein trying to mix things up. He's got Cam Chapman checking in at the next break. Tulsa's bringing in 3 new guys on their side too. And it's not that either side's playing particularly good defense, just the shot's not falling either way as a left elbow jumper from Woodard doesn't go, and DeAndre Wright couldn't keep it in play. Ball goes out of bounds as the player that sent this team to the NCAA tournament, Cameron Chapman, checks in for the first time in this game with 12:01 left to play in the first half. Tulsa on top of Michigan, 10-9. Michigan hasn't scored since the media timeout. Michigan needs something happening now, and you know what? Why not throw in Cam Chapman? He can make something happen. We all saw it last week against Indiana. Feeds the ball to Wagner. Rockman off a screen from Wagner, trying to dribble drive inside now is the mismatch as he pulls up for a 3 over Wright. Shot doesn't go, and Swanigan crashes the boards for the rebound. Dribble driving and getting inside. Pretty hook shot there from Shaquille Harrison on a little reverse land, up and under. And Tulsa has a 3-point lead, 12-9. Michigan hasn't scored since the 15:40 mark. That dunk by Wagner looked like a momentum turner. Quite the opposite. It's been all Tulsa since. Nice entry pass to Cam Chapman, but he's tied up in midair. Good block and good defensive play. It'll be Michigan basketball when we come back. 11-10 still to go in the first half. There's another timeout on the floor. Tulsa on top, 12-9. Simon, what are you seeing from Michigan offensively that's led to these struggles since that first timeout? You know, they come out of that first timeout. Wagner comes in. He gets that dunk. It's looking like things are rolling in Michigan's favor. And now all of a sudden the shots aren't falling. And right now Michigan's getting some good looks. Mar got a good look. Derek got a good look. And sometimes it's just they're not hitting. They're not bad looks. They're not bad shots. Just not falling right now for Michigan. Tulsa on the other side, a couple of shots that maybe didn't look like they were falling, found their way into the net. And right now that's the reason Tulsa's up 12-9 with 11-10 left in the first half. So Michigan needs to play its pace. Tulsa trying to pick up the tempo, running down the floor on their offensive possessions. Michigan needs to play within its game. It knows its strengths. And I still think Michigan needs to be more aggressive about getting the ball down low, going against Swanigan, going against Wright, forcing them to body up against you.
And as you mentioned before we started this game, this is a Michigan team that only features 2 players who have NCAA tournament experience. You wonder what kind of impact perhaps jitters and nerves are playing early on.
Absolutely. You're in March. We talked about it earlier in the broadcast before tip-off. It's a new scene for Michigan, a new atmosphere. I said I didn't think it was going to faze them, but who's to say that that's the reason that they're starting a little jittery, starting a little like butterflies in the stomach right now. Derek Walton, Zak Irvin, the only 2 scholarship players, only 2 people in Michigan's rotation that have been in an environment like this, playing in the Elite 8 their freshman year, and even for them, it's been a while.
Michigan currently as a team shooting just 25% from the field. They're 1 of 7 from behind the arc. Are they settling for too many 3-pointers early on, or is this simply you live by the 3, you die by the 3, and if they're not falling, they're not falling?
I still think they're settling for too many 3-pointers. Get the ball down low. Wagner showed he can, go up. He got that dunk. Give it to him. See what he can do bodying against Wright, bodying against Swanigan. And see if, maybe that's where your game plan comes from tonight. Switch it up if you're Michigan. If the shots aren't falling, feed the ball down low. Mark Donnell, Ricky Doyle will probably get some more time in the half. Michigan's got that size. You got to take advantage of it. Michigan yet to do that.
11-10 still to play in this first half. Both offenses struggling on the floor right now. Tulsa leading it 12-9 as the 2 teams emerge from the media timeout. Michigan has not scored in 4.5 minutes. Tulsa has made just 1 of their last 7 field goal attempts. On the floor for Tulsa, Smith, Harrison, Ray, Burton, and Swanigan. For Michigan, Chapman, Walton, Abdul-Rahman, Robinson, and Donnell.
Beeline option to go back with Donnell after he picked up a foul earlier in the game.
As Sterling Taplin checks in for the first time for the Hurricane. Chapman to inbound underneath the Michigan attacking basket. 15 seconds on the shot clock. His team trailing by 3. Chapman inbounds it to center court. Will Walton takes it. Off a screen from Donnell. Now Robinson. Into the corner, Chapman. Back up top to Robinson. Robinson settles for a long 2, too strong, and the rebound finally brought down by Sterling Taplin.
Taplin with a lot of time to get that rebound. Michigan not sending any guys to the board on the offensive end of things.
Shaquille Harrison drives inside from the right elbow, gets the jumper to go, and Tulsa's on top by 5. Michigan desperately needing a basket. It's been almost 5 minutes.
Something's got to give for the Wolverines. They're slowing things down, trying to play their game. Basket's not fallen since that about 6 minutes ago for Michigan. Been stuck at 9 points. Derek Walton trying to get things rolling coming off a Donnell pick.
Walton drives inside, kicks it up top. Now Chapman in front of the Tulsa bench has his 3-pointer block, corrals the block, puts up a 3, no good. Swanigan there to get the board. Not the worst shot, but again, still not falling for Michigan. On the right block, Rashad Smith bodies up, settles for the right-handed hook shot over. Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman taking advantage of the mismatch for the easy bucket.
Michigan just absolutely dry, nothing going.
Chapman.
Cam Chapman needs to know better
Contested
than
lay-in.
that.
Doesn't get it to go as Rashad Smith shake it up. Hobbling on that right angle.
Chapman just
Woodard checks in.
throwing it up at the glass. Aubrey Dawkins checking in for Michigan now. He'll come in for Duncan Robinson. So it's Dawkins, Chapman, Walton, Irvin, Donnell out on the floor for Michigan. And it appears that Rashad Smith, he's limping off with an assistant coach.
Yeah, he's headed to the locker room. That's a big loss. Their starting power forward out for this game at the moment as he heads into the locker room. 9.5 minutes left to play in the first half. Tulsa on top 16-9. Michigan hasn't scored in 6 minutes. Walton, guarded by Harrison. Kicks to Irvin. 3-pointer from Irvin, gets it to go. That's a big shot for Michigan to stop the Blazers.
Big shot from a guy they call big shot, so a timely take for him, a timely time to knock down that jumper. Michigan all of a sudden just down 4. Tulsa really never able to push it out even on that 5-minute stretch of no scoring for the Wolverines.
Harrison kicks it into the corner to Taplin, feeds it down low to Swanigan, who feeds to a cutting Woodard. His pass intercepted though, and Michigan breaking off the turnover. For Tulsa, it's their 4th. Walton pulling up for a three, another three that Michigan didn't need to rush, and it doesn't go. Woodard, a wide open three-pointer from NBA range, doesn't fall, and Dawkins collects the basketball.
Michigan can't have that Irvin jumper be its only momentum. It's got to take it and ride with it now.
12-16, Michigan trailing with 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. Donnell kicks to Dawkins. Now Walton with it, 10 on the shot clock. Michigan's offense has very little movement going on at the moment. Walton drives baseline, kicks to Chapman in the corner for three, rattles around the rim, no good. Dawkins brings down the rebound, and then has it stripped away by Woodard. Taplin and Harrison driving inside, drawing the armbar from Walton Jr. for the foul. Third team foul against the Wolverines with 8:14 left to go in the first half.
Andrew Dakic checking in for Michigan. Moritz Wagner checking in for Michigan. Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman checking in for Michigan. So it's Dakic, Abdur-Rahman, Irvin, Dawkins, and Donnell. Not Donnell, Wagner. Excuse me. Michigan trailing 16-12. Golden Hurricane inbounding under their own basket.
And Wright collects that inbound as the Tulsa offense resets. Into the opposite corner, it's Woodard. Woodard drives to the top of the key and defers to Rashad Ray. Now Harrison takes a look at the shot clock, sees 15 seconds, gets a new play from Frank Haith on the sideline. Harrison driving inside, has his momentum cut off, but kicks to a wide open Rashad Ray, who doesn't get the three-pointer to go. Rebound brought down by Mo Wagner.
Andrew Dakic, preferred walk-on, playing in his second NCAA tournament.
How about this for Wagner? That's his 5th rebound in the game, and we still have 7.5 minutes left to play in the first half. Dawkins wide open for three, and they're just not falling for Michigan. Another open three that doesn't find the net.
This is a percentage you don't want to hear. 15% from behind three right now. Michigan 2 for 13 from deep. Just makes from Irvin and Robinson that kicked off the game.
Driving inside is Ray, who has his momentum cut off by Dawkins. Now Harrison going to work on Irvin. Long two, doesn't go. Irvin had a hand in his face to make that shot extra difficult. Dakic running the point the other way. Screen from Wagner. Kicked up top to Wagner. Thought about a three, instead has the gap closed on him. Now he tries to dribble inside. Gets inside positioning on the baseline. Kicks to Rahman, who drives in. Gets the lay-in to go. Pretty move there by Rahman. And it was created by Mo Wagner driving on the baseline.
That's what John Beeline calls East Coast buckets. Put your head down, get to the hoop, and do something.
Michigan within two, 16-14, 6.5 minutes still to play in this first half. Wagner hedges a screen. Kick to Woodard, now driving inside on the baseline is Wright. Harrison with it, 5 on the shot clock. Cut off by Dawkins. Getting inside and getting a good look is Pat Bird, but it doesn't go. About the best you could hope for with the shot clock expiring, but Michigan gets the defensive board. Dakic driving inside. Up top to Rahman, who goes for the blow-by on a pump fake from three and draws a quick hand check and a foul on Pat Bird. First foul against Pat Bird, 4th team foul. Timeout on the floor, 6 minutes even left to play in the first half, and Michigan is trailing by just 14-16. They've gone on a little bit of a run thanks to Tulsa, whose offense has gone stagnant. They haven't scored in 4 minutes.
Michigan kind of, the tables have turned. Tulsa getting okay looks and the ball not falling. Michigan getting a couple looks and the ball falling now. Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman putting his head down, getting to the basket. That's what I talked about before. You've got that size advantage. Go down, get in the paint, get those buckets in the paint. You don't need to rely on, shooting 40% from three-point in order to beat this Tulsa team. Michigan knows it has the size advantage, trying to take advantage of that maybe a little more now. Beeline gonna stick with Moritz Wagner, talking to his assistants before he addresses the team at the media timeout.
And Wagner's really been a spark for this team. In addition to his 5 rebounds, he has a basket. He created a basket for Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman by his ability to drive the basketball, something Michigan's other bigs have not shown the ability to do this year.
And the one thing about Wagner, he's not afraid of contact. I mean, he played for Alba Berlin, a semi-professional team over in Berlin, Germany, and the one thing that he has coming in is he's played against guys that are 25 years old, 30 years old, that have been in the league, that are big men. He's not playing against boys over there, so he knows what it's like to go up against size, and he's not afraid of that contact going down in the paint.
Michigan trailing 16-14 here with 6 minutes left to go in the first half. I think one thing Michigan can take away from their struggles early on is they can't shoot the ball much worse from deep, and they are getting open looks, something that has to leave John Beilein somewhat pleased, and I'm sure he's telling his team right now in the huddle that if your shots are open, you still got to take them, because this offense cannot afford for players to be gun shy.
Absolutely. Beilein, if they're taking shots and they're missing open looks, you can't get mad about that. Sometimes it's just not falling, but Michigan's got to have a plan B. We talked about it before, it's been live by the three, die by the three. Right now, they're shooting 15% from three. That's not going to work against any team. 2 for 13 from the perimeter. So get the ball, give it to Wagner down low. Have Robinson pump fake, and drive to the hoop. He's been showing that he can work off the ball more now. You got to find other ways.
6 minutes left to play in the first half. Michigan trailing Tulsa 16-14, but the momentum squarely in the Wolverines' favor. Tulsa has missed their last 4 shots and have not scored in 4 minutes. Michigan not much better, but they have hit 2 of their last 14 after going 6+ minutes without a bucket.
16-14, 6 minutes. Doesn't look like it's going to be the most high-scoring affair necessarily. The game taking place on the court right before this. Southern and Holy Cross was a low-scoring affair, so maybe it's Dayton. Michigan getting ready to come back from this media timeout. It'll go with the same 5 that it ended with. Dockage actually coming out. Derek going in. It'll be Derek Walton, Zak Irvin, Aubrey Dawkins, Abdu Rahman, and Wagner inbounding the ball.
You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan basketball from the first floor at the University of Dayton Arena in Dayton, Ohio. I'm Leo Blavin. Joining me courtside, Simon Kaufman. Michigan with the basketball, 6 minutes to go in the first half. They trail Tulsa 14-16. Walton with the basketball. Now Rahman being tightly guarded by Markel Curtis. Walton off a dribble drive, gets by Ray, kicks to Rahman up top. He goes to work, gets inside, has his shot altered by Markel Curtis, and it doesn't go. And now Tulsa bringing it back the other way, right to left.
Tulsa not running it up this time, taking its time, slowing things down, and when they give Michigan those different looks, that can throw off a defense. Driving inside, nearly having it stripped away is Pat Bird, and then Markel Curtis tripped up by Aubrey Dawkins as he takes a tumble. Easy call for the official to make there. Dawkins tried to get his hand in there, pick the ball, and then go the other way with it. Unfortunately for him, got his foot in there too. No hesitation making that call. 4th team foul against Michigan, first against Aubrey Dawkins, who takes a seat. Duncan Robinson back in the game as Mo Wagner remains in the floor for Michigan, as he's giving Beilein no reason to take him out of this game. Down low, it's Wagner going to work on right, and the hook is forced by Wagner's defensive positioning against right. Offensive foul. Or did he simply step up the baseline? Either way, turnover forced. It's Michigan ball with 5 minutes to go in the first half, and Michigan on top 14-16. Lucky for Michigan, Tulsa really not able to take advantage of Michigan's drought, so it's just a 2-point game. Michigan gets a few buckets all of a sudden the momentum can swing, favoring the Wolverines. Irvin feeds it down low to Wagner, whose momentum took him out of play, but he was able to keep the basketball on the floor. Irvin driving inside on Smith. Settles for a fadeaway 8-footer, gets it to go. Another big shot for Irvin, and we're deadlocked at 16. Ray. Kicking it to Curtis. Curtis driving inside, has it rejected by Wagner, and Robinson gets the basketball, pushing it the other way. Robinson
unabated to the basket, gets it to go. Good transition offense by Robinson, who gets to the tin to lay it in. 4:01 left to play in the first half, and Michigan back on top, 18-16.
All of a sudden, Michigan realized that they could take it down to the paint. Robinson putting the ball on the floor, taking it right to the rim. And on the other side, I love that matchup of Swanigan and Wagner. Wagner with about an inch and 20 pounds on him and taking advantage of all of those. Derek Walton with the steal now.
Walton pushing it the other way. Nearly has a shot block through all the contact. He gets the lay-in to go, and Michigan on a little 11-0 run over the last 5:40. And they have a 4-point lead. The Wolverine offense coming to life here in Dayton. Now Woodard gives to Swanigan, and now Curtis. To Ray from the right elbow. His jumper, good as it gets. Stops the bleeding as Tulsa hadn't scored in what felt like an eternity.
Just like that, Michigan goes like 5 minutes without scoring and then comes and gets 6 points in about 60 seconds, so things can change quick. Irvin firing, missing. Duncan Robinson with the rebound.
Rockman collects it and gives it to the point guard, Walton Jr. Robinson from his favorite spot on the right side, thought about a three. Instead, the Wolverines will work it around the perimeter. Wagner sets a screen for Walton, who gets to the free throw line. Drives inside, gets all sorts of contact, no call. Unfortunately for Swanigan, who brought in the block shot, his foot was on the baseline, out of play. 2:47 still to play in the first half. Michigan on top 20-18. What sparked this Michigan run, Simon?
Michigan getting that steal from Derek Walton. Zak Irvin hits that jumper a while ago that got them out of the slump, but they really weren't able to roll with it. Then all of a sudden, Derek Walton, Duncan Robinson going to the hoop and getting buckets for Michigan. Looks like they're the team that people thought they were. The reason they got a bid, and people weren't as surprised as when Tulsa got a bid, and they were sticking it to Michigan at the very beginning, maybe making people like Joe Lenardi and the likes telling them that they deserve to be here.
We've heard chants of "Let's go blue" from the crowd. Michigan's offense sparking them to life. What's led to the struggles for Tulsa offensively?
Tulsa, just like Michigan, a couple of good opportunities, but they're missing the shots. They weren't falling, but also a little sloppy on an offensive end, going down, throwing it around, and not able to get anything. Wagner going up really strong. Don't take anything away from Tulsa as much as credit Wagner and credit Michigan's defense right now.
At this time, we proudly request that any current and
2:47 left to play in the first half. Michigan on top of Tulsa 20-18. Just 4 team fouls for the Wolverines, 3 team fouls for Tulsa. However, Tulsa's offense just 1 for their last 6. Michigan, the three-point shooting hasn't gotten any better. They've still just made 2 of 14 attempts. However, they're not settling for as many threes, and that's something that they can build off of.
Michigan, like you said, just 2 of 14 from deep, but 10 points in the paint all of a sudden. Half of their points have come in the paint. That's not usually something you see from Michigan. They're relying on threes falling, jumpers falling, shots going in. Not happening right now, so get the ball down low and get those points where you can get them.
The largest lead of this game for Tulsa was 7 at the 9:59 mark. Michigan, their largest lead is 4. Still 2:47, really important for Michigan to finish this first half strong. You want to go in the locker room with the momentum.
You obviously want the locker room. You want to go into the locker room, with that momentum. Both teams need to find the touch shooting. Michigan 30% from the field. Tulsa 36%. Michigan, a team that usually wants to be right around 40-45%, and not happening for them right now.
Just waiting for this media timeout to conclude. Take a look at some stats. Michigan currently out-rebounding Tulsa, which not unexpected given Tulsa's lack of size inside. Michigan 20 rebounds to 14. I think the bigger thing so far, Michigan 9 points off turnovers, 5 of which Tulsa has had in the first half to just Michigan's 3, and that's big because Tulsa, a defense that likes to pick other teams' pockets, likes to take advantage of turnovers. John Beilein teams, you don't expect to turn the ball over much, and they haven't done so in this first half.
No, Michigan doing an okay job at that. Tulsa with 3 steals, though, so Michigan, you got to take advantage of every possession. Every possession matters once you get down here this time of the year. Michigan needs to take advantage, go to the hoop, go to the basket. Michigan going with Walton Marr, Robinson, Irvin, and Wagner. Beeline riding Wagner for as long as he can the way he's playing. 2 points, 1 for 1 from the field, but 5 rebounds for Moritz.
Walton off the dribble, 8 on the shot clock. Gets a screen from Wagner. Steps inside the three-point arc and gets the long 2 to go. Derek Walton Jr. His second basket of the game, and Michigan's got a 4-point lead.
Took him a while to get those first ones, but now all of a sudden 2 for 6. He's got 4 points. Michigan up 4.
Harrison driving inside through contact, doesn't get it to go, and Robinson brings in the rebound. Michigan pushing the pace, 4 on 3, back the other way. Robinson, the trailer for 3, does not get it to go off the front of the rim. 2:10 left to go in the first half. Michigan leading at 22-18 in what's been an abysmal offensive performance for both sides in this first half.
Robinson with only 1 bucket since he hit that 3 to open things.
Irvin forces a turnover, getting his hand in the passing lane. Back the other way. Leaves it for Robinson up top to Walton for 3 in front of the Tulsa bench. Rattles around the rim and falls in. Home cooking. A fortunate bounce for Walton Jr. That 3-point basket gives Michigan their largest lead of the game at 7 with 1:40 still to play.
That 3-pointer pretty much personifies Michigan from behind the arc right now. Took a couple of bounces but found its way in. So it's not good. It's ugly, but it'll get the job done. Pretty, not pretty.
Harrison trying to drive inside, gets stopped at the free throw line. Gives to Curtis, who drives it. Robinson, good defense. Just better offense there from Curtis. The finger roll up and in.
Robinson stuck with him the whole time, got his left hand in there, but Markel Curtis just throwing it up and off the glass. Fundamentals.
Closing in on the minute mark, still to play in this first half. Michigan leading it 25-20. Walton gets a handoff from Wagner. Kicks to Rockman for 3 off a screen, no good. Then Smith brings in the rebound.
Just under a minute here. Tulsa will try to play. Use all the shot clock they can. 17 seconds left on the shot clock. Give the ball back to Michigan for 1 final possession.
Harrison driving inside through contact, gets the layup up, but it doesn't go. He'll head to the line to shoot 2 as Walton Jr. picks up the foul. 15 foul against Michigan in this first half. Not something we saw a lot of, though, in the first half. We heard all about coming into this game, the ability of Tulsa's guards to drive and get to the rim. Haven't seen a lot of it, and that's a credit to Michigan's defense from their guards.
Credit to Michigan's defense, credit to Moritz Wagner, who said this is my paint and nobody else is coming inside. So, like Michigan, they've had to rely on the shots falling, and they haven't been shot falling for the Golden Hurricane either.
And the first free throw for Harrison doesn't go as Wagner checks out. Beeline perhaps just trying to prevent him from picking up a silly foul with 36.4 seconds still to go in this first half as Harrison heads to the line for his second of 2 free throws with 36.4 seconds left to play in the first half, and Michigan leading it over Tulsa 25-20. Harrison's second free throw is up, and it is no good as well, 0 for 2. So good foul there from Walton Jr. A 5-second differential between the game clock and shot clock for the Wolverines. They have a 5-point lead. Can they grow it in their last offensive possession of the first half? Beeline having Walton use their use it or lose it timeout with 18.8 seconds left to play in the first half. What are you expecting Beeline to draw up here?
You know, for Michigan, usually we would figure this is some sort of shooting play. They ran one the other day called Magic for Robinson that he hit against Northwestern. That was a big shot that set them up for that overtime win. But if I'm Beeline right now, I'm thinking, let's get the ball in. Let's have one of my guards drive to the basket, or let's have them do a little pick and roll, dump it off to a big man, because 3 for 17, I'm not liking my odds shooting from behind the perimeter right now.
13 seconds will be left on the shot clock, 18.8 seconds left on the game clock. So, barring some sort of miraculous circumstance, Michigan will go into the locker room with the lead, which would surprise most if I told you that Michigan shot just 32% from the field. Fortunately for them, Tulsa not much better at 38%, and Tulsa's turned it over 6 times to just 3 for the Wolverines.
Michigan gone to the line just once, but 2 for 2 on free throws. On the other side of things, Golden Hurricanes 0 for 3. You get to go to the charity stripe, you got to make those shots. Tulsa not doing that. tonight, and it's hurting them. And on the season, not the best free throw shooting team. 67.8%, just under 70% from the charity stripe. Michigan shooting about 74% from the free throw line, and it's making a difference tonight. 5 points. Michigan leads here at University of Dayton Arena in Dayton, Ohio, just about 3 hours south of Ann Arbor. Winner of this game would head to Brooklyn, New York, play at Barclays. They would have Notre Dame. They'd be slotted as an 11 seed against number 6 seeded Fighting Irish.
Unfortunately for Michigan, that game set to tip off well into the evening, so what little travel time they have to spend getting to New York, they're going to get at least a bit more time to recover in what's been a hectic 8 or 9 days. 3 games in the Big Ten Tournament, quick turnaround to get here in Dayton, and then back at it Friday, considering Notre Dame's had a week plus off since their ACC tournament departure.
Just looking at Michigan's travel, they bust here from Ann Arbor Monday night, about a 3-hour drive down. Got in late Monday night, hung out, and then they went through the usual pre-game routine yesterday that they would do a day before a game, walk through, practiced at a nearby local college while there was games going on at the arena yesterday. If they were to win tonight, they would actually fly to New York tonight, get probably 3, 4 in the morning. I imagine coach would let them sleep in, and then they have media obligations and an open practice in Brooklyn tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern if they are able to hold on in the second half against a Golden Hurricane team trying to prove that it deserved to be here in the first place.
18.8 seconds left to go in the first half out of the timeout. Michigan on top 25-20 with the basketball. 5-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Irvin off a screen from Donnell to Rockma to Walton in the corner for 3, gets it to go. Big shot to close out the first half for Michigan. Tulsa will have 3 seconds left for a desperation shot. Rashad Ray from deep, good if it goes, off the backboard in the rim, no good. Michigan closed out the first half strong with a 28-20 lead as we head to the break. Simon, your final thoughts on the first half?
Well, what do we say? Michigan's live by the 3, die by the 3, and exactly opposite what I suggested doing after they start 15% from 3 points. They shoot a 3, Derek Walton hits it, sending Michigan into the locker room, up 28-20 here in Dayton.
We'll be back with second half coverage on a moment. You're listening to Michigan Basketball, Student Radio Network, WCBN FM Ann Arbor. At the break, Michigan 28, Tulsa 20. Welcome back inside the University of Dayton Arena. I'm Leo Blavin. Joining me, Simon Kaufman for Michigan Basketball on the Michigan Basketball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Second half coverage about to get underway. Michigan on top of Tulsa 28-20 after the break. Michigan going on a late run in that game, or in the first half, I should say, a 19-4 run to get to this 8-point lead at the break. Simon, what did you see from Michigan in the first half that sparked that run?
Well, the biggest thing we didn't see was Michigan making three-pointers, 4 for 18 from deep. On the other side of things, Tulsa, not a good three-point shooting team, didn't shoot well, but 2 for 8 from behind the arc. So Michigan's got to cut them down on that. And then Michigan's got to take advantage of its size down low. You saw it do it better later in the half. Going to the paint, driving, getting buckets down low against an undersized Golden Hurricane team.
Walton led the way for Michigan offensively in the first half. He started slow but finished with 10 first half points, including 2 of 5 from behind the arc. Mo Wagner, the other guy who really thrived in the first half, just 2 points, but he had 5 and really was a big factor on the defensive end of the floor. Any reason to expect him to not start the second half as the big?
Michigan's going to go with the same starters I would expect, like they always do. And to be honest, I think it's going to be Ricky Doyle first off the bench again. Mo Wagner, though, if John Beilein needs him, we'll see how Donnell goes. He brings in that energy, he brings in that swagger, a lot of intangibles that you're not going to see in the stat line. But 2 points, that big dunk that swung things toward Michigan's way, and then 5 rebounds on the other side of things. Huge for Michigan going into this second half. So I would say keys for Michigan for the second half. If the looks are there, keep taking them from deep, because ultimately this is a team that can have success, that can hit those shots, that usually does. A very good three-point shooting team. And if they're not there, get the ball down low, attack the rim all day long. Like my JV coach, Scotty, used to say, if the shots aren't there, put the ball on the ground, put your head down, and get those buckets.
Michigan, this is their 26th NCAA Tournament appearance. They're looking for their 52nd win in this NCAA Tournament. They lead it 28-20 as we get set to start the second half.
A little bit different, of course, for Michigan, never having been in the first 4, kind of the play-in game to get into that field afterward. But John Beilein said they're approaching it no differently. The only thing that's different, he said, is the turnaround time. Michigan finding out it's here Sunday, then coming down here Monday night and playing Wednesday, as opposed to if you're in that field of 68, you have the opportunity to get that extra day. You're either playing Thursday or Friday. So a quick turnaround for Michigan, having played last Saturday, and we are underway in the second half.
Big break and a good sign for Tulsa. Rashad Smith back on the floor. He left the first half with an injury. It's the starting 5 for both sides to start the second half. Michigan on top 28-20, and we're underway. Tulsa now going left to right, Michigan right to left. Tulsa in their road blue uniforms with the golden numbers. As the lay-in attempt from Smith doesn't go, but the putback from Swanigan is good. Swanigan not a big factor in the first half. In fact, that's just the second bucket of the game.
Wagner did a good job with him down low, limiting him, got an inch and 20 pounds on him. If he can be a factor, don't count this Golden Hurricane team out.
Irvin gets inside, but has his shot absolutely stuffed into the second row.
Speaking of factor, how about that from Swanigan, absolutely swatting Zak Irvin, and Tulsa fans and Buckeye fans probably alike enjoying that.
Shot clock not reset, there's 10 seconds left on it. Rockmon going to work on the dribble, getting to the left block, getting the lay-in to go with the contact, and 1 for Rockmon, as Swanigan got a bit too aggressive, and Rockmon could go to the line to earn an extra freebie.
Beilein talks about it all the time. He calls it the Ali Shuffle. East Coast buckets, even though the kid's out of Allentown, Pennsylvania, not exactly what anyone would call East Coast, but that's exactly what Michigan needs. Gritty basket, putting the ball on the ground, driving in, picking up the contact. Now an opportunity for a three-point play to put it Michigan up 9.
The free throw too strong, so he's not rewarded for his efforts with anything more than a lay-in, but it's still an 8-point lead for Michigan with 19 minutes to go. Tulsa on their heels. Harrison Kicks to Smith for 3, and he gets it to go. That's a big shot. Cuts the lead down to 5, and if Tulsa gets their three-point shooting going, look out after they struggled so much to close out the first half. Their offense clicking in the second half with 5 easy buckets. 5 easy points, I should say.
5 easy buckets. Wolverines fans will be reading a little easier. A whistle on the play.
As Rockmont, it appears a contact came out, and he will head to the sideline.
So Rockman getting checked by the team doctor. I don't know if it looks like a contact in his right eye.
So no timeout, simply getting that contact back in his eye. 18:37 left to go in the second half. 16 seconds, I should say, on the shot clock, and Michigan currently leading at 30-25.
You mentioned Swanigan, not a huge factor, splitting time with DeAndre Wright in the first half. But if he can be a factor in this second half, you know, he looked like it just 2 points in that first half. That could really change this Tulsa team.
Tulsa scored a season-low 20 points in the first half. They've gotten 5 easy points here to start the second, as a bucket for Zak Irvin from just inside the three-point arc is good. 7-point lead for Michigan, 18:20 to go. Woodard kicking it to Harrison. Down low to Smith. Smith going to work on Walton Jr. Gets the contact and the bucket.
You know, from here it looks like, we'll take a look at the replay. It looks like Walton got a lot of ball on that. Doesn't make a difference though. Officials saw some contact. And Dockich will come in for Derek Walton now at the 18-10 mark in the second half.
Beeline seems to disagree with you a bit as he gives Walton a pat on the backside, questioning that decision there from their veteran leader.
Rashad Smith with an opportunity for the three-point play. He's a 56% from the charity stripe.
Too strong off the front of the rim is Dalton. Mark Donnell forced to foul Swanigan, who got the offensive rebound. The one thing you've got to do on those missed free throws is box out. Donnell failed to do so as Doyle heads to the scoring table to check in, as Swanigan will go to the line to shoot 2.
Beeline can't be pleased with that. That's been trouble for Donnell this whole year, staying out of foul trouble. That's his second personal. Ricky Doyle, Beeline keeping the same rotation. Doyle will check in for Donnell.
As Swanigan gets the first free throw to go, Doyle checking in.
For Mark Donnell.
On the floor for Michigan, Doyle, Duncan Robinson, Andrew Dockich, Zak Irvin, and Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman.
Doyle only played 2 minutes in the first half and picked up a personal, and Beeline opted to go with Wagner for most of the rest of the way.
Swanigan gets both free throws, and it's now just a 3-point game. Michigan on top 32-29 with 18 to go. Rockmont driving baseline, getting to the rim, but has it stripped away by Harrison. And Rockmont tried to tie up Swanigan. Beeline thought he did. Instead, it'll be a foul on the floor.
Not a smart foul from Abdul-Rahman, but I still love that he's showing that he's able to put the ball on the ground, go to the hoop. The only guy on Michigan right now that's showing that he's not afraid of that contact down low, even though he's not getting the bucket for Michigan on that end.
However, that is the 3rd team foul against Michigan.
Just over 2 minutes in, like you said, Leo, 3 team fouls. That won't bode well for Michigan down the stretch.
Harrison. King to Bird. Back to Harrison. Harrison gets inside from the free throw line. Shot doesn't go. Gets the offensive rebound. Gets the bucket and draws a foul. 4th team foul early on here for Michigan. And the Tulsa Golden Hurricane going on a little bit of a run. 8-0 run here, and they will go to the line to try to make it a 9-0 run and try to tie up the game at 32.
Well, if you're Tulsa coach Frank Haight, take advantage of this while you have. You got to walk on Andrew Dockich covering your star Harrison, and Harrison taking advantage. 3-point play is good, and all of a sudden it's tied after Michigan went into the locker room at halftime with an 8-point lead.
32-32 the score, and Tulsa is going on a 7-0 run. They've made 4 of their last 5. Michigan's offense has not been nearly as productive. Irvin off a curled screen gets it to go. Big shot for Zak Irvin. Continues to hit the shots when Michigan needs them the most.
Had a jumper similar to that that got Michigan going in the first half. Another
Harrison
big shot.
driving inside the other way, feeds Swanigan, who gets the bucket.
Swanigan starting to find his rhythm after having just 2 points in the first half. He's got 6 points in the second early on.
Robinson driving inside baseline, stepped on the line, out of bounds, and that's another Michigan turnover, their fourth, giving the ball back to Tulsa.
And of course, Michigan not hitting any threes. Robinson, right after he steps out, throws the ball to Dockich. Dockich throws up a three after the whistle doesn't count, but of course that's the one that goes in. Michigan needs a stop here.
Pat Burt dribbling the basketball, Michigan going in the 1-3-1 zone. And Harrison gets a tie-up from Duncan Robinson. The possession arrow points in Michigan's favor, and they get the 7th turnover against Tulsa in this game.
Big for Michigan. Duncan Robinson saying, I know I stepped out of bounds on the other end. I'll make it up on this end, grabbing the ball, getting a jump ball, possession arrow, favoring Michigan.
Zak Irvin directing the offense, and a off-ball foul. Getting a bit too aggressive was Shaquille Harrison.
Mark drawing that contact, he's running through the paint, and Harrison's got to stay with him now because he knows he's a threat to do something down low.
Second foul against Harrison, who leads Tulsa in scoring with 10. Just the second team foul against Tulsa in this half with 16:20 left to play. We're tied 34-34. Rockmon driving inside through the contact, gets the lay-in to go. Swanigan tried to get a hand on it, couldn't do so, and Rockmon has the Wolverines back on top. 1-3-1 zone, here we come.
Rockman again, the only guy in Michigan, putting the ball down, forcing Harrison to stick with him. Harrison can't do it last time. 2 points for the Wolverines.
And Michigan going back man-to-man. And it forces a tough runner that doesn't go, and Dockich brings down the rebound. Now Rockman with the basketball. Looking to go coast to coast, gets the lay-in up, but it doesn't go. And now here comes Tulsa, back and forth. Basketball action, driving inside, no! But the putback dunk, Shaquille Harrison, yes!
How about that from Zak Harrison? Michigan an opportunity to go coast to coast, get a little momentum. Shaq says, I think I'll dunk it on the other end.
It was Woodard who missed the initial attempt, but Harrison was there to clean up the mess. Now Irvin, back the other way up a screen, up top to Dockett. Hands off to Rockmon. Rockmon guarded by Smith. Tries the blow by, but there's a foul on the floor beforehand. The third team foul against Tulsa sends us into immediate timeout with 15-14 left to go in the contest. Michigan and Tulsa deadlocked at 36 apiece. Tulsa making a move here. They trailed by 8 to start this half. Now they've evened it up. How?
The difference for Tulsa, Swanigan. Swanigan just 2 points in the first half, but now Brandon Swanigan with 6 points early. He had that big dunk on the other end, huge for Tulsa. Michigan's bigs got to step up. They've been struggling to do this. Right now, if I'm Michigan coach John Beilein, I talk to my guys and I say, you guys see how Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman's been playing? I want everyone to play like that guy, aggressive, not scared of the contact, putting his head down, putting the ball on the ground, going in and getting the paint. Because Abdur-Rahman knows he's just 3 of 10 from the field. That's not an impressive stat line. What is impressive, though, is he realizes the shots aren't falling. He's not afraid to attack the rim and get to the hoop.
How does Michigan get back on track defensively? How do they stop Swanigan, who, as you mentioned, has gone on a little bit of a tear? He entered this exited the first half, I should say, with just 2 points. And he's got 6 early points to start the second.
Michigan just got to contain him. I think that's, what do you think about? They're not going to limit him 100%, but contain him, keep him out of the paint, push him, make him earn those baskets. Don't make them be easy ones where he can dribble once, turn his shoulder, and put up a bucket.
15-14 left to go in the second half. Michigan and Tulsa even at 36 apiece. Leading scorer for Michigan in this game, Derek Walton Jr. He's 4 of 8 from the field and has 10 points to his credit. Shaquille Harrison leading the thing for the Golden Hurricane with 12 points on 5 of 8 shooting from the field. He's also got 4 rebounds and 4 assists. Mo Wagner we haven't seen yet in this game. However, he's sitting as we get set to exit the Michigan huddle.
Wagner will be checking in after this. He brought a lot of energy in that first half, just 2 points, but it felt like he changed the tempo with what he was able to do. So Beeline opting to go back to him. Another guy to keep your eye on, especially if this one remains close down the stretch. Zak Irvin, the next thing of him, big shot, and he's made a couple of great jumpers today. So if it gets down to the wire, expect Beeline to drop something for Irvin, have him hit an elbow jumper if Michigan needs 2 points late. He's 4 for 8 from the field right now, just 1 for 3 from behind the arc, but Michigan's second leading scorer with 9 points in 23 minutes of action. Again, 36-36 here in Dayton. Winner takes on number 6 seeded Notre Dame in Brooklyn at Barclays. It is a packed house here at the University of Dayton Arena.
13,435 strong here.
700 more than Chrysler has. Feels smaller, but it sounds a whole lot louder.
As Michigan will inbound the basketball, reset the shot clock after the foul on the floor. 36-36 the score between Michigan and Tulsa with 15:10 left to go in this contest. The final game of the first 4 here from Dayton, Ohio. As you mentioned, the Stakes a berth in the first round of the NCAA Tournament in Brooklyn against Notre Dame. Rockmon driving inside. Has his path to the basket cut off by Rashad Ray and kicks it back out to Irvin. Irvin gets a screen from Wagner. Pulls up for a 3 with a hand in his face. Doesn't get it to go. And Rashad Ray flies in for the rebound.
Tulsa doing a good job limiting Michigan's options there.
Woodard, I should say, going inside, but Robinson got a piece of it. Went off the side of the backboard, so Woodard was able to corral his own miss. A wide open Markel Curtis from 3, doesn't get it to go. And Wagner draws the foul. And Swanigan a bit too aggressive going for the basketball. And Wagner holds up his right fist in triumph.
Checking in for Tulsa, number 40, DeAndre Wright for Brandon Swanigan.
14:31 still to play. Swanigan checking out after picking up his second personal foul. 4th team foul against Tulsa in this half. 4 fouls as well for the Maize and Blue. Duncan Robinson off a screen from Wagner. Steps inside. And now kicking it to Irvin up top. 10 seconds on the shot clock for Michigan. Irvin trying to drive, just no room to breathe. Stepped on the baseline, out of bounds. Another turnover. This is the 5th against Michigan.
On the other end of things, who would have thought it would have been Moritz Wagner, Michigan's best option against Swanigan. Swanigan checking out after Mo forced a foul. He put a body in him, forced him to box out. Swanigan a little too many hands down low getting called there.
Michigan in the 1-3-1 zone off the timeout. And a foul against DeAndre Wright. Another offensive foul for Tulsa.
Tulsa foul on number 40.
That's the 5th team foul against the Golden Hurricane. Perhaps a game Michigan may be winning from the free throw line if they can get in the bonus. They're 2 fouls away.
That'd be big for Michigan, a good free throw shooting team.
Here's Rockmon, now Dawkins. Irvin now, trying to drive baseline as it cut off. Smothering defense. Forces a pass to Rockmon. 10 on the shot clock. Rockmon feeds it down low to Wagner, who kicks to Robinson in the corner for 3. No good, but Dawkins there for the board. Robinson, now he decides to drive inside. Lots of contact, gets the lay-in up, but it doesn't go. And now Woodard back the other way. Into the corner, he kicks it to Rashad Ray, who thought about a 3, instead thinks better of it and dribbles it up top. Deadlocked at 36 apiece. Tulsa's made just one of their last 5 attempts. Curtis tries to change that and will do that with a reverse layup.
How about that going on the right side, bringing it over to his left hand, going with the reverse.
Michigan, meanwhile, has not scored in the past 3.5 minutes of game time.
Same sort of thing we saw in the first half with the drought. They need someone to step up.
And Rockman does just that. Off a screen for Wagner, gets to the rim and lays it in with a pretty finger roll. Rashad Ray has his pass errantly deflect off 3 different guys. It somehow finds to Woodard, who had an open 3. Could have been a backbreaker for Michigan. Instead, simply a missed 3-pointer. Rockman goes to the rim, draws the blocking foul, and he will go to the line to shoot 2. as DeAndre Wright in the protected arc underneath the basket. And that's the 6th team foul against Tulsa. Michigan will be in the bonus the rest of the way as Rockmont heads to the line to shoot 2 after drawing the blocking foul against DeAndre Wright. That's big for Michigan.
Big for Michigan. Abdul Rahman doing everything right now. 8 points. He's going to the line. He had an opportunity and one to shoot from the charity stripe earlier. He missed it.
12:26 left to go in the first half. Rockmont's free throw gives the Wolverines a 39-38 lead, and he has another one upcoming as Irvin checks out. Derek Walton Jr. checks in.
Abdul Rahman, someone that's really grown into the player that he is right now for Michigan. Not starting for Michigan at the beginning of the year, of course. Made it into the lineup with LeVert injured and really changed the way this team plays.
Free throw for Rockmont, up and good, and he makes both. And Michigan's got a 40-38 lead with 12:26 still to play in the second half. On the floor for Michigan, Walton, Rockmont, Wagner, Robinson, and Dawkins, Smith, Harrison, Ray, Curtis, and Swanigan on the floor for Tulsa. Ray has it up top. Drives inside against the 1-3-1 zone. He finds a trap, but somehow kicks it into the corner to Curtis. Back up top to Ray now with it. To Harrison, trying to split the defense, gets inside, gets to the rim, gets the lay-in to go. Good aggressive play there by Shaquille Harrison to get the lay-in.
How about this trio of guards from Tulsa? Some athletic moves from Harrison, Woodard, and Burt down low. A little circus play to get 2.
Something to look for is Smith still grimacing, not super comfortable putting all his weight on both feet as Walton gets a wide open 3 from the corner. Doesn't get it to go, but Wagner there for the offensive rebound. The shot clock reset as Walton didn't see Curtis in his passing lane and Curtis pushing it the other way. Robinson trying to take the charge, does just that! The 7th team foul against Tulsa. Robinson making a big defensive play. However, I think Michigan might have got away with one there.
Not sure if he had his feet set on that one. Michigan will take the break, certainly going into the timeout. 40-40 with 11:27 to play. A big play from Robinson. Not just a shooter, eh?
Not just a shooter at all. Frank Haith, I think, agrees with us. He was furious after that call. And now Michigan in the bonus the rest of the way.
Huge for Michigan, and take advantage now. You're in that bonus. You know you're going to be getting free throws. No reason to continue missing 3-point shots. Put the ball on the ground, drive to the hoop, draw that contact, and if you throw something up and it's not going in, well then get that contact, go to the free throw line. Michigan from the free throw line shoots 74% about. I take those odds, 74% over what they're shooting from behind the arc right now, which is below 20%. So it doesn't take a mathematician to figure out the odds there. 40-40 in Dayton. Michigan's band with a little Blues Brothers action, trying to bring a home court feel atmosphere to the University of Dayton.
And there is a strong Michigan contingent, as you've made clear. There's a lot of Ohio State fans and Dayton fans simply coming here to root for anybody but Michigan. But the Maize and Blue making their presence felt, as I would expect to be the case if this team's advances to Brooklyn, where there's a strong Michigan alumni base in the New York City area.
That would be a fun matchup. Michigan, Notre Dame, obviously Notre Dame, and draws very well. A lot of Fighting Irish alumni out there, and obviously it's a huge breeding ground for Wolverine, former Wolverines out in Manhattan. Just Big Ten in general. Michigan, of course, was in New York at the very end of January for the inaugural Super Saturday. They played at the Mecca. MSG took on Penn State in a doubleheader basketball hockey arena, and talking with Michigan fans when they were there, and they could not be any happier to be getting to see their team in their own backyard at Madison Square Garden. Michigan will be playing at Barclays, home of the Nets, but still you would think they would draw very well in there. And if I'm Les Moonves, CBS Big Shot, whatever his new title is, I think you're pulling for Michigan, Notre Dame, because ever since they gave up on playing Michigan in football, it'd be a fun storyline there, getting to battle them on the hardwood.
11:27, separating Michigan from a date with Notre Dame. The Tulsa Golden Hurricane also standing in their way. It's 42-40. Michigan's gone cold on offense, just one of their last 6. How do they turn it up?
Michigan, like you said, they're in the bonus now. Put the ball on the floor, attack the rim, get that contact, and take your 74% shooting from the free throw line. If you're going to dump it down to Wagner, big man, not as good from the free throw line. Get him to body down against Swanigan, who's back in for Tulsa. And on the defensive end, Michigan's got to come up with a couple of stops. They can't have a stop and then get a bucket, and then Tulsa comes back and gets it back. They need a series of stops.
Ready to get back underway on the floor for Michigan. Rockman, Dawkins, Walton, Robinson, and Wagner as Tulsa coming out in what appears to be a full court pressure. Michigan easily getting across the time stripe. Wagner. Again thinking about a 3, elects to give to Robinson. Now Walton. 7 seconds on the shot clock, 6 as Robinson drives in, gets it in off the glass. Not something you see often from him, but he buries the head there, gets to the glass and lays it in.
Robinson been doing a better job of that, putting the ball on the ground.
Swanigan back the other way. Wagner bodies him up, gets a block. Mo Wagner again, making his presence felt on the defensive end of the floor.
Nothing fancy from Moritz Wagner, just going straight up, putting his body against Swanigan and coming out on top, getting the block there.
4th block of the game for Mo Wagner.
Got 7 rebounds too, so forget about the 2 points, 7 rebounds, 4 blocks. Beeline got to be pleased with that.
Now Harrison. He defers to Woodard, whose 3 doesn't go. However, Michigan couldn't hang on to the basketball. Walton Jr. the last to touch it, and it goes out of bounds on the baseline. So Tulsa gets second life there as Zak Irvin checks in.
One thing Michigan has to be prepared for now. Tulsa showing some different looks on the defense, going that 3/4 court press. Michigan struggled with that in the past. We'll see what happens when they get the ball back.
Woodard gets the inbound and resets the Tulsa offense. Tried to feed it down low to Swanigan, no passing lane as Swanigan and Wagner do battle on the left block. Swanigan settles for the hook shot. Wagner went straight up. They somehow call a foul out of it anyway. Wagner not happy at all.
Looks like Wagner went straight up. Maybe a makeup call for earlier that Robinson.
And taking a look at the replay doesn't do the referees any favors either. Nonetheless, they call the foul, the 15 foul against Michigan, and Swanigan heads to the line to shoot 2.
That's Wagner's
off the phantom foul.
First foul. Derek Walton with 3 fouls, so keep an eye on him. With 10.5 to play, Swanigan makes the first one. He shoots better than 60% from the free throw line. Makes this one, it'll tie it up at 42 apiece with 10.5 to play.
Second free throw up and rattles around, no good. Robinson with the rebound, and Michigan pushing the other way. Rockman gets the pass up ahead from Walton. Drives inside, and Michigan couldn't get enough of a pace as Tulsa's transition defense ready. Irvin steps just inside the 3-point arc and now backtracks. Gets a hard screen from Wagner. Off-ball offensive foul, and I think that's the right call. Wagner lowered the right shoulder and gave a little bit of extra on the moving screen.
And now all of a sudden, no fouls on Wagner. He's got 2. Beeline quick to go to his bench. He'll take Mark Donnell. Donnell, of course, also has 2 fouls, so Michigan's big's got to be careful here. Don't want to have to put Beeline in a situation where he's got to juggle things late with guys fouling out.
Prepare for this game to really slow down. Both teams in the bonus the rest of the way. Up top, it's Woodard. Michigan in his zone defense, and the alley-oop converted. Connection there from Ray to Harrison, and Tulsa's on top 43-42 with 9:40 to play.
I couldn't tell if that was a bad shot from Ray, but Harrison making it look real good on the other end. Second time they've had a big dunk like that to get the momentum going for them.
Rockman off a screen, top of the key 3-pointer, no, but the foul, yes. As Rashad Smith a bit too aggressive on the closeout, and Rockman will head to the line for 3 big free throws with 9:29 left to play in the second half. You're listening to the Michigan Basketball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Leo Blavin joined by Simon Kaufman, courtside from the University of Dayton Arena for the first four. Michigan currently trailing 43-42 as Rockman heads to the line for 3 free throws.
Rockman heading to the line for the 3rd time tonight. Had an and one opportunity in the first half.
Gets the first one to go.
Wasn't able to get that one, but then made 2 free throws when he was driving later. And now a chance to 3 points. To get a 3-point play from the charity stripe, makes his 2nd. And hard to say that anyone else has been the MVP for Michigan right now, besides maybe Moritz Wagner, who's getting the swagger going for them. You know, a couple of blocks on the defensive end, but on offense, it's been Muhammad putting the ball down on the ground, going to the hoop. He misses that one, so 2 for 3, putting Michigan back up 1, 44-43.
Tulsa looking to regain the lead. Harrison the ball handler. Motion leaves Ray open for 3, no good. Rebound fought for and finally secured by Rockman. Michigan pushing the pace. Rockman uncontested to the rim, laying no good. Swanigan did good to alter that shot though. And now here comes Harrison. Shaq Harrison to Ray, driving baseline through all sorts of contact, draws the foul. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. Walton Jr. picking it up, his 4th.
Beeline pacing up his bench right now, loosening that tie, and you can't blame him. His starting point guard's got 4 fouls, not in a good spot with 9 minutes left to play.
So Aubrey Dawkins gets set to check in. That's huge for Michigan. Their point guard heads to the bench as Ray gets the free throw to tie things up, 44-44. 8:57 still to play, and Derek Walton Jr. has 4 fouls.
Like you said, a whole lot of time to play in Michigan without their point guard quarterback. So again, look for Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman to step up. This is his team right now.
2nd free throw good for Ray, and Tulsa leads it 45-44. Rockman is your new ball handler. Donnell, Dawkins, Robinson, and Irvin joining Rockman on the floor. Rockman drives inside, kicks to Robinson from in front of the bench. He buries a 3, big shot for Duncan Robinson. His 2nd triple of the game puts Michigan on top by 2.
Marr captaining the offense down there, finds Robinson. Robinson hits from that corner. He likes that spot, finally falls for him.
Now Rashad Smith settles for a contested fadeaway. Good defense by Irvin, forces the miss, and Michigan will slow things down. Irvin thought about running it out for a moment. Thankfully for him, Rockman slowed things down, seeing they didn't have numbers. Irvin from the right elbow. He loves that spot, and he makes another jumper. That really seems to be his shot from that right elbow.
That was the one that he hit in the Big Ten tournament to set Michigan up.
Ray somehow parts the sea, gets to the rim. No one was there. He somehow must have heard footsteps because he missed a wide open layup. Can Michigan take advantage of the miss? Rockman spins, gets off the glass, no good. Put back, but the foul called on the floor. Fans thought it was an and one for Donnell. He was Johnny on the spot for the putback, but it's a foul on the floor against Rockman. Rockman will go to the line to shoot 2. When we get back into action, it's the under 8 media timeout. 7:38 left to play. Michigan on top, 49-45. Simon, how do they close it out?
Michigan needs to continue playing like they have been, putting the ball on the ground, going to the free throw line. You know, again, foul on the floor, but they'll shoot 2 because they're in the bonus now. So Abdur-Rahman with another opportunity to get 2 points for Michigan here with 7:38. And Michigan's got to come up with some stops on the defensive end and really stretch things out.
Again, the winner of this matchup has a first-round date in Brooklyn with Notre Dame on Friday night, a game that hopefully we'll have the chance to cover. Of course, that all depends on if Michigan can hold on to this current 49-45 lead with 7:38 still to play in the game. Simon, looking at Tulsa, how do they get back in this game? Where does their offensive production have to come from?
Well, you look at your guards, you need some offense out of Harrison. Harrison showing he can get to the hoop and make some shots. You know, it's only 4 points right now, so Tulsa's still not having to rely on the 3, which is good for them because they don't shoot the 3 well. So if I'm Tulsa, I still play our game, put the ball on the ground, drive to the hoop, get a couple of jumpers.
What's Beeline telling his squad right now in the huddle? How is he preparing them for this final 8-minute stretch?
You know, I think he's telling them settle down, don't get caught up in the moment. Michigan's starting to run it a little fast, which is working sometimes for them, but I like what Muhammad Ali Abdurrahman did last time, bringing the ball down. He sees it's not there, slows things down. He looks very comfortable captaining that offense right now, and, you know, kind of coming up, taking over that Derek Walton role and doing a good job so far, a solid job so far, and after this media timeout, he'll go to the line for 2.
If you thought that a point of emphasis in the locker room was taking better shots, how about this? Michigan, in the first half, 4 of 18 from behind the arc. The Wolverines have taken just 4 3-pointers in the second half. They've made only one of them, that coming from Duncan Robinson, but a huge shift in their offense, now trying to get inside, and part of that is shown by the 9 team fouls against Tulsa.
Well, like we said, coming out of that first half, if you're live by the 3, die by the 3. If you're dying by the 3, you've got to change up your game plan. And Michigan finally figured it out, led by Abdurrahman, realizing they're going to get more points closer to the basket, and then throw in a couple from Zak Irvin, some jumpers. So Michigan playing to its strengths tonight, not necessarily its strengths this whole season. And that's what it takes to win in March. The teams that win in March aren't the teams that, you know, we're relying on one area of the games. They're teams that can adapt late in games and adapt in high-pressure situations.
7:38 left to go in this game between Tulsa and Michigan. A spot in the first round in Brooklyn against Notre Dame on the line. Michigan leading it 49-45 as Muhammad Ali Abdurrahman heads to the free throw line. 2 shots upcoming for the sophomore in his first ever NCAA tournament game.
Abdurrahman, the son of a Division III assistant coach. His dad out in Pennsylvania, his hometown, Allentown, Pennsylvania. Broke into the starting lineup after Karis LeVert went down.
And he gets both free throws, more importantly. 51-45, Michigan on top, 7.5 minutes to play. You wanted excitement in your first 4, you got it. Harrison, kicking to Curtis. Feeds it inside to Wright, who had a spin around Donnell for the easy flush.
If you're Tulsa, you love that. Easy opportunity. Michigan needs to step up down low. Donnell goes straight up. Keep him out of there.
The lead is 4 for Michigan. Rahman, joined by Robinson, Donnell, and Dawkins, as well as Irvin for Michigan. Tulsa's got Harrison, Woodard, Burt, Curtis, and Wright as a long 3 settled for. Doesn't go. And the rebound brought down by Tulsa. Dawkins with the miss. 0 for 2 from the field for Aubrey Dawkins.
Dawkins, not a good look. Tulsa got a hand on that.
Woodard drives inside, fouled on the floor. That's the 8th team foul against Michigan, so he'll head to the line for the 1-and-1.
Beeline can't be too unhappy with Dawkins taking that besides from the look, though. He does shoot 45% from the perimeter.
At what point, again, he's got 4 fouls, do you consider bringing in Derek Walton Jr.?
I think right now you wait out. There's still 6:44 left, and Abdurrahman showing no reason to bring him out. He's attacking the rim, and whereas Walton is more of a pass-first point guard, Abdurrahman more of a score-first point guard, putting the ball on the ground. And right now, that's what Michigan needs. So if I'm Beeline, I hold out on Derek for as long as I can.
6:40 left to play. Tulsa trailing 49-51 as Michigan has the basketball in the 2-point lead. Tulsa sticking with their man-to-man. Rahman. A handoff going to the rim through all sorts of contact. Too strong, but Donnell there for the offensive rebound and the putback for 2. Mark Donnell, a big basket.
Donnell finally bodying in there down low, and it pays off, picking up his first points of the game.
Driving inside off a pump fake. Woodard gets the long 2 to go.
Tulsa is not going anywhere. Michigan trying to break out, go on a little bit of a run. Golden Hurricane keep coming back, firing off on the other end themselves.
Anyone hoping for a stress 3 first 4 matchup, sorry to disappoint you. Michigan and Tulsa continue to battle back and forth. 10 seconds now on the shot clock. Irvin with the basketball. Beeline ordering the offense to clear things out for Irvin. He drives by Burt, goes to the rim, tried to kick it out. Curtis intercepted the pass. Now the Hail Mary throw to Harrison. Driving inside, hip checked by Duncan Robinson. And Harrison will go to the line to shoot 2. Try to tie up this game with 5:39 left to play. Derek Walton Jr. rises from the bench and checks in.
Robinson with the foul. That's his second personal foul. Derek Walton checking back in. Imagine he'll come back in for Dawkins.
Both sides, worth pointing out, will be in the double bonus the rest of the way.
So Michigan will go with its 5 starters: Walton, Abdurrahman, Irvin, Robinson, and Donnell for the last 5:40.
Dawkins, as you said, checks out. Walton Jr. checks in with another made free throw from Harrison. It'll be a 53-53 game.
Remember, Walton with 4 fouls has to be careful with 5.5 to play. 5th foul puts him on the bench, and Beeline's going to have to get creative.
Second free throw rattles around, no good. Donnell there for the defensive rebound.
Even with Walton in, Marr running the point right now, bringing it up for Michigan.
Walton off a screen from Donnell. Splits the defense, kicks to Irvin. Irvin drives inside, but his lane is cut off by Pat Burt. 8 on the shot clock for Walton. Trying to break down his man on the dribble, pulls up for a 3, no good. The rebound brought down by Curtis. Not an ideal shot on that possession, and Tulsa has a chance to get the lead back. They trail 53-52, 5 minutes left to play.
Michigan needs a stop, and they need it bad. Tulsa taking its time, throwing the ball around the perimeter, looking for their best option.
Harrison kicking it into the corner. Pat Burt for a long 3. Rattles around, hit everything but the net, and it doesn't go. But Curtis there for the offensive board.
Another 30 seconds for Tulsa. New life after that one. Nearly went in, put them up 2 with 4.5 left in the second half. Michigan up 53-52.
Harrison feeds it down low to a wide open DeAndre Wright, who gets it in off the glass, and Tulsa is back on top 54-53 as John Beeline takes a timeout with 4:17 left to go in the game.
We talked about Michigan having the size advantage, but that's a matchup, that Coach Haight will like. DeAndre Wright, 6'9", 245, taking on Zak Irvin, just 6'6", 215. I'll take Wright every time on that, putting the ball on the ground, going up, getting the easy bucket to put Tulsa up 1. So if you thought this Tulsa team had no business being here in the first 4, as many experts and insiders do, that doesn't help your team when you're getting talked about and they're saying you're not going to be here. I think about it just like Michigan State, giving them the number 2 seed. That only makes them more dangerous. And this Golden Hurricane team looking a lot more dangerous than people might have expected. So 4:17, Tulsa up 54-53. Winner gets a trip to Brooklyn, and the season continues. Loser goes home and gets to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, presumably back on campus. But if you're Michigan, if you're the Golden Hurricane, you're trying to keep this celebration going all the way to New York. Michigan needs to put the ball on the floor. Beeline right now, if anyone's shooting, I think it's Zak Irvin and only Zak Irvin. Unless Duncan Robinson's got a look from behind the arc. Otherwise, put the ball on the floor and make Tulsa do something. Make them play good defense or have them foul you and go to the line.
4:17 left to play. Tulsa on top, 54-53. Many people expected it to be close. Not sure how many expected it to be this close.
No, well, a lot of the lines had Michigan by just a couple, so I guess Vegas and the likes expected it to be close. But
somehow Vegas always knows.
Somehow Vegas always knows, exactly. But if you've got Michigan -3 right now, you're not sitting comfortably watching this one wind down. The final minutes in Dayton for the final for the first 4 down at the University of Dayton Arena. So both teams breaking from their huddle now. 4:17 left on the clock, and after that bucket from Tulsa, on that second chance. They have the advantage right now. Michigan running out. It's starters minus Donnell, add in Maurice Wagner. What do you think about going with Wagner right now over Donnell?
It's exciting for Michigan fans because he's been the spark that Michigan has needed all year. And they finally are getting it from him. They list him in the media guide as the emotional spark on the bench. Now he's the emotional spark on the floor, and they're going to need one, trailing 54-53 with 4:17 left to go in this game between Michigan and Tulsa. On the floor for Michigan, Zak Irvin, Mo Wagner, Duncan Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Abdur-Rahman, and Derek Walton Jr. For Tulsa, Harrison Woodard, Burt, Curtis, and Wright.
Abdur-Rahman inbounding. We'll find Derek Walton, and Derek Walton will run Michigan's offense. Keep in mind Walton with 4 fouls again, so has to be careful down the stretch, and we're back.
Ready to get back underway. Michigan dribbling it right to left, trailing by 1 with 4:15 to go. Rahman, top of the key. Feeds it to Wagner at the free throw line. Hands it back off to Wagner. Wagner had the ball tipped out of his hands, re-corrals it. With Rahman, 4 minutes to play, 10 on the shot clock. Michigan down by 1. Irvin. Feeds Rahman, 3 on the shot clock. Rahman trying to get inside, just getting the shot off. Somehow gets it to go, no angle. He somehow found a centimeter of glass, and it's just enough to send that shot into the netting. 55-54, Michigan back on top. Harrison going right back the other way, getting an easy bucket. Wagner tried to deflect the shot, wasn't able to do so with the outstretched arms, and Shaq Harrison with a big bucket. 19 points for that young man.
We talked about a big-time play from Muhammad on the other end, getting that bucket off the glass, but Tulsa coming right back, not letting anything go.
Irvin from that right elbow that he loves so much, too short. And the rebound brought down by Tulsa. Harrison bringing it up the floor. 56-55, Tulsa leading it with 3:10 to play.
Well, this is where Tulsa's 9 seniors and experience is going to come in. 3 minutes left, up a point, NCAA Tournament. Michigan wishes they had that right now.
Burt driving inside, kicking it to a Markel Curtis who loses his footing. Michigan getting the turnover. Irvin to Robinson, goes into the lane, gets it off the glass and in for 2. Michigan back on top.
Fantastic passing. Walton finding Irvin. Irvin not doing himself. He saw Marr there. He saw Robinson was the better option. Finding Robinson. Robinson off the glass and in.
Timeout for Tulsa.
Timeout, Tulsa.
Well, there's a reason March is everybody's favorite month. How about this finish down in Dayton, 57-56.
2:39 to play, Simon. What is Beeline telling his team right now? The final media timeout of this game. From this point out, it's going to be all basketball.
It doesn't get any better than that. Beeline always even keeled, telling them to stay in the moment. You know, especially for the guys that haven't been here before, it's so easy to get caught up in everything here. You're in the first 4, you made it to the tournament. Don't get content right now. Keep pushing the ball down, keep attacking the floor. You know, we thought Michigan would have to shoot a decent clip from the field, from the arc to stay in this one. Well, they're shooting just 40% from the field and 20%, like absolutely no one predicted, from three-point range. But talk about the points in the paint. Michigan getting 22 points in the paint. That's a big number for Michigan. Tulsa on the other side, 32 points in the paint, but they're more reliant on getting those points down low. Michigan in the past much more reliant on shots falling. So big finish here coming in Dayton. It will be the same 5 that were just on the court. Donnell and Doyle looking on as Wagner looks like we'll finish things out on the floor. On Tulsa's side of things, down 1, this is where you talk about that veteran experience coming in. You know, maybe not having been in the tournament play, but you've got 9 seniors. They've played in some games that have gone down to the wire like this. Michigan's got 2 seniors. Terrence LeVert's got a towel on his head right now. He's not going in. Spike Albrecht's not coming in right now. He's trying to get his guys amped, though. So Spike and Karras were saying they talked to the guys about their time in the tournament, their freshman year, that Final Four run, their sophomore year. A Harrison shot away from another Final Four. But talk is cheap when it comes down to the final minutes of a game in March as the clock sits at 11:10 p.m. East Coast. So either team getting out of here will have a long night as they head to Brooklyn. And then right back at things tomorrow. And if Michigan holds on to this, you'll know we'll have film wait for him on the plane. Crowd booing as they show an Ohio State fan in the crowd.
Let's reset you on things. Michigan leading Tulsa 57-56. Out of the timeout, it'll be Tulsa basketball. 2:39 left to play in the game. 9 team fouls to both sides, so both sides will be in the double bonus the rest of the way. Tulsa's also hit 4 of their last 5 shots from the field.
Tulsa not going anywhere. It seems like Michigan comes up with a bucket that they really work for, like that Abdu Rahman off the glass shot, and then Tulsa comes down and gets one easy. So Michigan needs to step up on defense. They can't get flat after getting a bucket of their own on the other end.
On the floor for Tulsa, Harrison, Woodard, Burt, Curtis, and Wright for Michigan. Rahman, Walton, Robinson, Wagner, and Irvin. Harrison with the basketball, 15 on the shot clock for Tulsa, who trail it 57-56 with 2.5 to play. Off a screen, Woodard going to work on Irvin, 5 on the shot clock. Kicks it back up top to Harrison, 3 on the shot clock. He's going to settle for a long 3, misses everything. Shot clock violation. Good defense out of the timeout for the Maize and Blue. Beeline and Bakari Alexander and the Michigan faithful absolutely loving it from the sideline.
A lot of time left to play, 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Derek Walton taking the ball down. Michigan needs a bucket here.
Big possession for Michigan. Can they add some cushion to their 1-point lead? With 2 minutes to go, Rahman trying to drive baseline. Now comes back up top, gets inside, has a shot rejected, but Wagner there and slams it with 2 hands. Mo Wagner with a huge dunk. Michigan on by 3. Now splitting the defense back the other way, and they won't go away at all. The Golden Hurricane not going any there. James Woodard with the finger roll.
Like we talked about, Michigan having to work for that one after the Marr miss. Wagner going up, Tulsa coming right back, getting that easy bucket. Down just 1, 1.5 minutes left.
Duncan Robinson with the basketball for Michigan. 1.5 minutes to play. Michigan leading by 1. It's 59-58. Rahman trying to get by Woodard. Off the glass, no good. Rebound brought down by Harrison, and Tulsa looking to push the pace. They can get the lead with a basket. Rahman closing him down as Harrison goes to the rim and gets the lay-in. No one there to stop him. Walton couldn't do much. He didn't want to pick up his 5th foul, and Tulsa leads it by 1 with under a minute to play from Dayton. Here's Robinson. Huge possession for Michigan. Irvin from that right elbow pulls up for a long 3 and gets it. A 3-point basket, and Michigan leads by 2.
Big shot for Zak Irvin. He's been going from that spot all day. Gets it to fall.
The 3-point basket from Zak Irvin, and Tulsa will take a timeout. 41.3 seconds left to play. And the Michigan faithful on their feet.
Well, how about Zak Irvin when Michigan needed him most? Beeline dialed him up the other night to set Michigan up in that Northwestern game to put that game into overtime. And again, Zak Irvin, the veteran junior with NCAA tournament experience, coming through with less than a minute, knocking down that shot. That was a little further from the jump shot, that elbow shot that he likes taking a step back. It doesn't make a difference. Nothing but net. 62-60. Michigan with 41.3 seconds left and 13,000 plus on their feet in Dayton.
It's 11:13 local time. No one in any hurry to go home as Michigan and Tulsa battle back and forth. Michigan leading at 62-60. 41.3 seconds left to play in this game. Tulsa with the basketball, trailing by 2. And they have 19 seconds on the shot clock. What does Michigan do defensively to shut them down?
Don't let them get into the paint. Force them to knock down a bucket.
On the floor for Tulsa, Harrison, Woodard, Burt, Curtis, and Wright. For Michigan, Rahman, Walton, Robinson, Wagner, and Irvin. Burt with the basketball, driving inside. Rahman went up strong, forced the miss. Rebound fought for, brought down by Irvin. The shot clock's turned off. Tulsa's gonna have to foul. Walton dribbling forward, nearly has it stolen away, continues to push forward. a near disastrous turnover. Walton simply draws the foul. He'll head to the line for 2.
I understand Walton wanted to hold on to the ball. Michigan's best option from the free throw line, shooting 82%, but he's got to be smarter there. They're attacking 3 guys on him. Give up the ball. He almost turns over the ball down there. That could have been disastrous for Michigan. So Derek Walton sat out a few minutes earlier in the half with 4 fouls, now with an opportunity to help Michigan close this one. 62-60, Michigan up 22.4. Derek Walton toes the charity stripe.
Michigan in the double bonus, so he gets 2 free throws. Gets the first to go. The second one's the big one. It's 63-60, Michigan on top. 22.4 seconds left to play. The shot clock is turned off. Walton gets ready for the second free throw. He's got 11 points in the game. Gets them both. Ice cold from Derek Walton Jr. as Mark Donnell checks out for Mo Weezy.
Big shots from Derek Walton Jr. He's been here before. He knows the moment.
And Wagner getting the crowd into it. Tulsa, though, plenty of time. No need to settle for a three-pointer right away. Harrison will not. He'll drive inside. Give to Burt. Burt has it stolen away, but gets back the loose ball. They will take a 3, however, from Woodard. Too strong. Irvin with the rebound, and he's fouled. Michigan a few free throws away from punching their ticket to Brooklyn. 10.8 seconds left to go. Michigan leading it 64-60. And if Irvin can hit either of these free throws, Michigan can get comfortable and prepare for a late night flight to New York City.
Well, this is one that D-line will say after the game. Gritty, not pretty. Michigan fighting all the way through. They throw an 8-point half-time lead. Tulsa takes the lead.
Irvin gets the first free throw to go. Michigan up by 5.
Tulsa take the lead here in the second half, but Michigan put its head down, gritted it out, and it looks as though it'll walk away with a win and a trip to the field of 68 in Brooklyn.
Irvin gets the second to go. Mo Wagner checks back in for Donnell. 10.8 seconds left to play. Michigan leading at 66-60. The only thing Wolverines have to do at this point, do not foul. Inbound to Shaquille Harrison. Harrison driving coast to coast. No one will get in his way, and he stuffs it home with 2 hands. Frank Haynes takes a timeout. Michigan leading at 66-62 with 6.7 seconds left to play. This is an area of concern, however, for Michigan. They've struggled all season with inbounds passes. What do you want to see Michigan draw up here, Simon?
Well, I guarantee you Tulsa has been working on a play like this on the defensive side in the 3 days they've had to prep, and we'll see how well it pays off. On the other end, I'm sure Michigan's been putting a lot of time on inbounding. We'll see who they have inbounding. Typically it's been Zak Irvin, but Beeline's pulled him in the past because he struggled to get it in. The most important thing for Michigan, get the ball in. The last thing you can afford is for a 5 seconds call and having Tulsa inbounded under their own hoop with just under 7 seconds left. People heading for the exits.
I wouldn't want to leave just yet. Let's make sure Michigan gets the inbound before everyone goes home safely.
I don't know where they're heading in Dayton on a Wednesday night, but people look like they're eager to get out of here.
Heading to New York.
They're heading to New York, exactly. They added a 1/10 of a second, now 6.8 on the clock. If Tulsa were to get the rebound, technically they've got to go for the 3 at this point. Their best look from deep is James Woodard. He shoots 36% from deep. Moritz Wagner standing all alone at the other end until finally Burt finds him.
Robinson gets the inbound and is fouled immediately. Michigan's best free throw shooter, one of the best free throw shooters in the country, will head to the line. 3.8 seconds left to play. It's simply padding your statistics at this point, as Michigan is 3.8 seconds away from a trip to Brooklyn.
Looks as though Michigan punched its ticket. Robinson shoots better than 90% from the line.
As Robinson gets the first one to go, and Michigan leads at 67-62. Misses the second one, perhaps on purpose. Doesn't really matter, and back the other way, Burt will settle for a long half-court heap. It doesn't go. Michigan will go to Brooklyn. The Wolverines win it, closing out the first four. The final score, 67-62.
Michigan gritted this one out, a gutsy effort. Not a lot of things were working for it. It figured out what was. The shots aren't falling. Michigan finishes 40% from the field, just 24% from deep. But that's what you have to do to win games in March. Michigan showing they're just as tough and they can hang. On the other side of things, credit Tulsa. Everyone said this team had no business being here, and they stuck with a very good Michigan team until the final seconds.
Certainly disappointing way to end the season. There could only be one winner, and fortunately for us, Simon, me and you were Brooklyn bound as Michigan comes away victorious 67-62. Simon, your final thoughts on tonight's game and perhaps a look ahead to Michigan's matchup with Notre Dame.
Well, Michigan's got a tough turnaround. They had a quick turnaround here. You know that John Beeline's got Notre Dame film waiting for him. He already had one of the assistant coaches looking over stuff, so they'll get straight to work. They're going to the big city, but it's a business trip for Michigan. They're trying to get out of this first weekend, punch a ticket to play on Sunday. Michigan looks like all the pieces are starting to fall together right now, something they didn't have earlier in the season.
Well, Simon, it's been fun. The final from Dayton. Michigan escapes the first four with a final score of Michigan 67, Tulsa 62. We'll see you in Brooklyn on Friday. So long from Dayton.